doing this is we actually want to get our lines a lot cleaner. We're going to need a lot more precision in terms of how the actual curls and swirls are, trying to get a bit more evenness on the actual swirl and circles, a bit more precision on the lines, and actually getting the lines a lot cleaner. So we're using the outliner too, and it enables us to be able to get in a lot closer and take off more hair. So that's why we're using this tool. So we'll just comb the hair, and now what we're actually doing is just getting in very close and neatening everything up. So when it actually comes to yourselves doing designs, whether you're in your salon, wherever you may be, it's important to charge your clientele accordingly, being the fact that you're actually going over the design 2 or 3 times. One, just to initially establish the design that you want, and then again you find yourself going over it just in order to get it clean. And with the main common thing is that you actually have to cut a clean line on both sides of that line. What I mean is that we've got our line here, and we actually have to cut it clean on both sides. We have one movable blade, which is here. Turning around, we've got our steel blade. The steel blade is what gives you the precision. The movable blade is what cuts the hair. So, as you can see, as we're actually cutting in this line, you've got the steel blade here at the top, which is making the precision on this top side of the line, but underneath it's moving, so you're not getting any precision. So you've got to then turn your tool around the opposite side of that line in order to establish precision on the bottom side of that line also. And this generally has to be done throughout the whole design. So what we're doing here, we just work around this particular swirl here. And that's one of the good things about being able to use the pivot finger we've come up with at MK's, just to ensure that you keep a straight back, as opposed to trying to get a curve and trying to curve and twist in your back. At least now with your pivot finger you can control, keep your back straight, and be able to position your tool where you need to. One of the other things you might notice is that as the clipper is actually attaching itself to the head to clean the line, there is a slight jerk movement. It's not a movement that requires too much movement, but it's like literally just placing the tool down and just literally just moving it slightly on the head in order to make sure that the line that you're creating is clean. That's the important thing. Now, one of the things that we're going to begin here is just the theme of the circles that we're getting into. So all the little gaps that we've got, we're just going to fill them out with the circles. First things first, just to take off the corners. We're almost there. One of the other things that you'll find when you're actually doing something, especially in an acute area like this, you may find that you'll have to watch the span of your clipper or your tool, whichever one you're using, whether it's a small one or a big one. But this is a very acute angle space that we're working in. So for instance, we're only just trying to achieve this circle here, but we have to be very mindful of the whole span of the tool, that where we're resting it, we don't actually go too far and put a straight line across the design where it wasn't intended. So here we're just literally just using the corner, as we said. Pivot finger, very important on this occasion, just for precision. And you just get to place down. Now your hand is only holding the tool and your thumb is actually doing the levering. Your pivot finger can actually move where it needs to. And again, we're just literally continuing with the same notion that we've got to get all the lines very clean. This is the difference between a design that might last 2 weeks or a design that might last to a month. As long as the client was to comb their hair and brush it with their growth direction, you'd be able to still be able to see this pattern in 3 or 4 weeks' time. Right, we're continuing the same technique, just using our pivot finger or our backhand pivot, just to levering, in order to just clean up all the lines, get them as even and symmetrical as possible. And that's just using the outliner too. That just enables us to be able to get close, mainly due to its small teeth. And fine cutting action. Now this area, we're just cleaning this very closely. As I said, ideas on designs can just change some here. And what it's done is it's brought out this V aspect. And with the fact that it's in line with this perimeter line that we made initially, it's just showing off the symmetry a lot better. We've got a V in the middle, we'll just put 2 circles on either side of it. And that just helps again, just to know that it's a symmetrical paisley design. What also helps when it comes to just cleaning the hair is just to use your thumb and literally just stretch the skin slightly. And it enables you to get a little bit closer just to clean in the area. And again, we'll repeat the same process on the other side. Just taking a little step back just enabled us to be able to see where we put our circle in the first place. And again, just stretching the skin just to get the area that we want bald a little bit closer. Now we've finished the main part of our design. The main thing to do now is to actually define the length of hair that we've got and actually graduate that into the top. We're going to get a little bit of texture in here because we actually want to be spiky. We're going to follow the movement, natural movement, directional growth, get it spiky, taper some of the front in, level it down flat, and our hairstyle will be finished. So first thing we're going to do is go back to the length that we were used initially just to get the length that we required for the design. And as you can see, there's only a small amount of hair being removed now. So now we're starting to go into the top. We're doing just tilting the angle slightly just to help for our first step into the graduation, and we'll use the rest with clipper over comb. So now we've done that, we've used our clipper just to establish the length that we want. Now just to blend that into the sides, we're just going to use a little bit of clipper over comb. Now what we're doing here, just to establish when you're actually doing the clipper over comb, to make sure you've got stability, as we get the comb to the step or the area that we wish to cut, our comb comes out at the angle of 45 degrees from the head. Our finger is placed on the head and our thumb locks the position once you've achieved the angle, and then we cut across. So it's actually in, finger goes to the head, thumb locks the position, and it allows to keep the comb in place without you having to float your hand in the air to do the clipper over comb. And we're using the area that we've cut before with the clipper level, which is down here as our guideline. So we just follow up to where we were cutting with that clipper. There's our guideline there, bring it out at the angle that we wished, and continue cutting. And we just continue that right the way around. So now what we're doing, we're just moving a little bit higher up the graduation, just into the peritoneal area, slightly. And we're just literally following on from the guideline where we were on our comb, and just literally trimming. Now we've actually cut the sides and we've blended the sides into the top. Next thing to do is just to trim the top. The length that we've got here is just about right, but we're going to need to trim a little bit off. So what we're going to do is just wet the hair. We're going to use the T-line combo with a detachable blade. Comes with 2 blades, allows you to be able to attach. We're using the straight blade today. What we're going to do is just wet the hair freehand and just take off some of the ends that we've got here, just making sure we've got a nice round shape towards the back, blending in some of the front, and then we're actually going to get a lot of texture in there by using another tool with a thinning blade that actually allows you to just remove bulk and keep the length. Now we've wet the hair, we're just going to use our combo just to trim the ends. So just a little bit of freehand cutting. So we're just literally just using the clippers just to establish a good length. So what we're doing is we're just taking from the crown area just a thin tram line all the way to the frontal bone. So from the occipital right through to the parietal to the frontal bone, just a straight section. So as you can see, you can use the T-liner combo to actually cut wet hair freehand. Not necessary for using scissors if you're going to achieve the same results. Just allowing us to trim the ends right through it. So now we've done that, we've got our thin section that we've made here. We're then going to do horizontal sections right the way through, using that first section as our guideline. So we just come straight up and go across. And we just continue with this section all the way to the frontal bone.